this is Stephen and Jen with Iowa Backyard Farmer, and today we're talking cucumbers. I do a lot of the gardening, you do a lot of the research, but we both have had a problem with cucumbers in as much as you have great expectations this type of year, and they don't always pan out. And so today we're going to problem solve some of the problems you might be seeing and some of the solutions that we have with the variety of cucumber that you grow. So not talking gardening methods, talking cucumbers, different kinds.
Yeah, so like you said, we've grown cucumbers for a lot of years, and we've had some good years, we've had some bad years, and trying to understand what causes those, and then try to select varieties that will prevent the bad years from happening again.
Yeah, so what this looks like is that I put beautiful cucumbers out there. They start to grow, maybe they flower, and sometimes they just melt down and die, and the whole cucumber vine disappears overnight. Have you ever had that? Or you're going to grow cucumbers and you have this big bushy vine and it's growing lots of flowers on it, but no cucumbers. What's my problem? Right? What's my problem? Or it's growing some little cucumbers that get just a little bit big and then they turn yellow and they die, and I have failed as a gardener. What do we do? What do we do?
So a lot of those can be fixed by picking the right variety. And so we spend a lot of time choosing tomatoes and peppers and a lot of other things. And only the last couple of years or so have we really focused on trying to get the right cucumber varieties. And even as we're preparing for this one, we found some more that we're going to bring in and trial as well.
Yeah, because our whole thing is that we want you to have success with gardening. We grow like 10,000 plants a year, and every year we get new gardeners, even experienced gardeners, and they're like, I have had this or that problem, and I feel like I've failed. What do I do? What do I need to do?
Yeah. So let's talk about a couple of terms, some big sciencey sounding terms before we get started, because that will kind of drive our description as we jump into the different varieties. And so that's the first one to cover, Monisha. Tell us about that.
So that is a plant that has both male and female flowers, and you need to have pollination between those two to get a cucumber, which is fine. That's great. They tend to bear fruit over a long period of time, and they're pretty standard.
Yeah, it's pretty standard. That's your normal traditional ones.
However, it gets discouraging because those male flowers come out first, and they'll come in a bigger quantity. So you'll get 10 to 20 male flowers with no cucumbers, and people call me every time. They're like, nothing's happening. There's no cucumbers yet.
I see that people post that online all the time. What's going wrong with my cucumbers? I'm getting a whole bunch of male flowers and no female flowers, or they don't even recognize the difference between a male flower and a female flower. Just real quick, a male flower doesn't have a little tiny baby cucumber on it.
Yeah, the female flowers have a tiny baby cucumber behind it.
Yeah. So when you're dealing with a Monisha, kind of a more traditional type, it's going to take a lot longer because you're going to have 10 to 20
Yeah, you have to get those male flowers out
first.
And then you got to pollinate that female flower. And then even still proportionally, we're still going to have 10 to 20 male flowers for every one female flower. Yeah. So you might be like, oh, I'm counting all my blossoms and I'm going to have all these cucumbers. Just kidding.
Yeah. But there are solutions for those.
There are solutions for those.
So another term, let's jump to gynoecious. What does gynoecious mean?
Gynoecious means it has primarily or mostly female flowers. Oh, so my odds just got better, right? Now I have more chances to get fruit than I had with my monoecious plants.
Yeah, way more chances. The downside of that is if it still needs to be pollinated, then you've got to have a separate pollinizer plant for those.
Like another monoecious plant that
sounds like a lot of work.
Send pollen over. Right?
So I like part of that, having a second plant required. Maybe not quite as interested, but then there's another term that I really like, Parthenocarpic, and that's used to describe a lot of ours.
So Parthenocarpic means it doesn't need to be pollinated. Oh. And so and if you have a gynoecious one that is also Parthenocarpic, we've got a whole bunch of female flowers that don't need a pollinizer or a pollinator. And so that gets really cool, because one of my other problems that we talked about at the beginning is that, pollinators are really good. I'm a big fan. You're a big fan.
Yeah.
We grow a lot of things for beneficial insects. Not all insects are beneficial. And cucumbers have an adversary. It is the cucumber beetle. And it comes and it chomps on my cucumber, but it has this bacteria in its gut that carries
bacterial wilt can be an issue.
It carries the disease with it, bites your cucumber, infects your cucumber, the whole thing just goes like blah.
Yeah, that's, I don't know, 7 years ago we had a big year of cucumber beetles, and everything looked green and gorgeous one day, and about 2 days later all of our cucumbers are dead. And so we do have some resistant varieties, which has been helpful. But by getting these other kinds, if you know you're going to have that problem, you can net them, you can cover them, you can do stuff to prevent.
If you were growing in a greenhouse where there might be an absence of pollinators, fantastic. Parthenocarpic, you don't need it. If you are having high insect pressure and you want to cover those, but then you're like, well, how do I let the pollinators in? Parthenocarpic, you don't have to. And you're getting a huge amount of fruit. There is a downside for this, I suppose, for the Parthenocarpic, is that they tend to have a shorter harvest window. So they tend to come on earlier and in a big bunch, but you might want to succession sow them if you want them
for a really long period. Season. Yeah. So those are important, and I think it's really helpful to understand the differences. Last year was the first year we planted one that had both Parthenocarpi and Gyus, and we were overrun. We've never gotten so many cucumbers in our life.
30-pound buckets. I mean, I plant a lot, but we gave some to the food bank. I gave them to friends. I was like, you stop by my house. How do you feel about cucumbers? Right? We had a lot. Yeah. We had a lot.
So we're big fans of that technology now. So let's jump in and talk about different types. Let's start with picklers.
Yeah. So we grow a lot of our own food, and I'm trying to make pickles, and we had a bumper crop year last year, but I noticed there's some differences here. So like this one has a lot of little bumps and it looked really different, and this one kind of looks more like a standard cucumber. Talk to me.
Yeah, so we've got in that jar both European style and American style. So the European style have the little tinier prickles and a whole bunch of them. If you look on the store, typically see a little gherkin. That'll be more of the European style. And so our favorite European style that we tried this year was Adam's.
And it was fantastic.
And that was the one that is both Gyus and Parthenocarpic and loaded. Oh my goodness. And they taste good, and they're crisp.
And they made beautiful pickles. So that one's here to stay if you want to have a good try for that one. Adam was a good one.
Yep. So Adam was by far our favorite. The next one up that we've enjoyed is County Fair Improved. And the biggest reason we keep that one in, I mean, it's a good pickler and it grows just fine, but it is resistant to bacterial wilt. So
which cucumber beetles, we've had a problem.
We've had an issue there.
So
but that's been a good one. I do want to try a new one this year called Excelsia, which is a standard long vine pickling cucumber, American style.
But Parthenocarpic and
Gyus, so we can maybe get away without so many plants.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try Excelsia this year. Next one up, H19.
Now, wait. Oh. We're going to just backtrack a little bit. So I get this question. People are like, well, I grew this cucumber and it didn't taste good, or it wasn't very good. All of these cucumbers that we're talking about have a range to pick them at. Yeah. So my Adam cucumbers want to be picked as tiny little gherkins. They do not want to get
2, 3. I wouldn't even go 4 inches if you can avoid it.
Really small. They'll keep growing past then. Yeah. They'll keep growing. All these cucumbers are going to grow past their ideal harvest window. So you got to know when to pick it, because it'll make a difference. But those Parthenocarpic ones, they tend to be nearly seedless. Mm-hmm. And so they're good for pickling because you don't have a big seed cavity. You don't get that squishy inside. They tend to be really good for that, but you want to pick it in your ideal thing. So go back through Adam, 2 to 3 inches, County Fair, maybe 4 or 5 inches.
3 to 4 inches. Most of the picklers are 3 to 4 inches.
Yeah. If I'm doing like these bread and butter pickles, I want them to be about 1.5 inches across. And however long that is. Yeah.
So next one up would be H19 Little Leaf. We brought that one in because it's very highly disease resistant. Mm-hmm. It is also a shorter vine one, so if you like to grow in containers.
Yeah, or you have a small garden and you're like, there went my cucumber over the hill, right? This little leaf has much smaller leaves and much shorter vines, and so it's going to bring that all into contained space.
Yeah, and smaller leaves also makes it easier. I'm sure I'm not the only person who has gone hunting for pickles and think I have everything and come back 3 days later and it's a foot long because I couldn't see it through the leaves.
This is true. And the other thing you need to know about cucumbers is that the object and desire of a cucumber vine's existence is to produce seed for the next generation. And so if you get one of those big, huge cucumbers and it starts to turn yellow, and one, it's going to get really bitter. Two, it's going to stop the production of that plant. So you really want to be able to find them and get them off so that your plant will keep producing. Yeah. So that's a nice feature that you can spot them.
Yep. So we've really enjoyed that one. The next one is also a smaller one, even call it a bush style, the pick-a-bushel.
Pick-a-bushel. Now, are these Monishas or Parthenocarpic?
So pick-a-bushel is Monisha, so just kind of the standard. It's
so you got to watch your male female flowers.
Yep. And H19 is Parthenocarpic. So
which is nice.
You can get away without a pollinator.
And you could cover that one and keep the bugs off.
Yep. So pick-a-bushel 2014 AAS winner. The fact that you can grow it in a container is really the key thing there, and it's very, very popular.
Yep.
Next one up is on our list is Saladmore Bush. Now this is not just a pickler; it's kind of a dual purpose.
Yeah, this is crossing that line. So for pickles like these pickles where I'm canning them, I really want those nice, small, dense cucumbers. They're going to stay crispier. They're going to be really nice. If I'm doing a refrigerator pickle where you're not applying any heat or anything, you can get away with kind of a more slicer texture. Yeah. But this Saladmore Bush is like, if I was only going to grow one, this would be the one.
Yeah.
This would be the one.
Yeah.
If you wanted slicing and pickling.
Slicing and pickling and
small. It's got the
small.
Shorter vines. So you've got that bush habit and nice. And we're picking this at a slightly larger size too.
Yeah, so 3 to 4 inches for a pickle, 7 to 8 for a slicer.
Okay. So, and we sell a lot of that one. That one's very popular.
Yeah, very, very popular. So move on to another category. Let's talk about snacking pickles.
Okay.
This is one that we're...
Snacking cucumbers, yes.
Cucumbers, thank you. And this is one we've really started to learn more, and we're doing a ton of trialing for this one this year.
And this is a good reminder that you figure out what the length is that it's ideal to be consumed, because even the snacking cucumbers, they do not grow and stay little. They're going to grow past that, and then you're going to be like, well, that didn't taste very good, and it was super seedy.
Yeah.
It has a range. So we'll try and cover that too.
But they will keep growing. So if you're thinking, well, I'll just pick it when it's mature at 3 to 4 inches, and you come out the next day and it's 9 inches, you missed it. So
cucumbers grow really fast. Check them frequently.
So the first one on our list is Greenlight, and this is one we've sold and grown for several years. It's a 2020 AAS winner, and it's a longer vine one. You
could trellis it.
So we've trellised it. One of the reasons it's so popular is it is just like 33, 35 days to first harvest. So it is super fast.
You're like, I'm impatient. It's March. I want a cucumber yesterday. This would be
this is a good one to grow. The downside of that is
it's going to have a shorter harvest window.
And I don't know that it's shorter, but if it starts a month earlier than everything else, it's going to end a month earlier than everything else, basically. Yeah. So again, really popular, but it will outgrow its perfect snacking size of around 4 or 5 inches really quick. So if you miss it,
pick it, keep going.
Pick it and keep going.
Sometimes I pick those slightly just big ones. You can hollow out that seed cavity, and I will grind them up and make pickle relish, because you don't need the perfect size for that one. Just don't use the great big ones.
Yeah.
Grow another cucumber.
So the next snacking size one that we're trialing this year is Isnic, and I've heard a lot about Isnic. It is a shorter vine one. So if we compare all of these snacking type, this is the one that's going to be the easiest to grow in a container.
Yeah. So small space garden.
It is Parthenocarpic as well, about 60 days. So it's another month beyond Greenlight, but it's been a very popular snack size cucumber.
This one's they're smooth. All these snacking ones, so we've got all the little spines on my picklers and things, but these snacking cucumbers tend to have a really smooth texture, no bumps.
Yeah, smooth texture, thinner skin in general.
Yeah,
so you can just grab one and eat it. So they're pretty popular in the grocery stores nowadays. Next one up that we're growing this year is Mini Me. And this one's
tiny.
It's tiny. You want to pick it like 2 to 3 inches. So it's
like
smaller
every day
than the
go
others.
Out, pick your salad. It'll be good.
So Parthenocarpic and Gynaecious, and so expect pretty good productivity
Because
out of it.
again, you don't have to wait through all those male flowers. You've just got female flowers, and you can cover it, net it, protect it.
Yeah. So it is from the alphabet, I think is how it's pronounced, the group or family, and so it will be mildly sweet. It won't be the sweetest of the bunch.
Yeah.
But nice and small, 2 to 3 inches. Piccolino is the next one we are trying this year. It is a mini English cucumber, which a lot of people like the English cucumbers, little thinner skin, real
Sweeter?
smooth, real very sweet. And so Piccolino is when we're doing this year. 4 to 5 inches is when you want to pick it. It is also Gynaecious and Parthenocarpic. And so, again, anticipating a pretty good production off of it. So we'll be eating a lot. And then the last one on our snack size ones that we're going to try this year is a brand new one from Johnny's. I haven't found anybody that has grown it, but Johnny's has
test their stuff.
They test their stuff very well, so I trust their testing. It's called Querty. Think of your left hand.
Like you're typing keyboard Qwerty. It's like, woo, the whole alphabet there.
So Querty. Pick it at 3 to 4 inches, also Gynaecious and Parthenocarpic. I'm really looking forward to this one. The only downside is that
it's like expensive.
It's like $1.50 per seed. And so
so we'll try that one, let you know if it's super fantastic.
Is it worth it for that or not? I don't know. So we'll see. So next category is slicers.
Right, so picklers, slicer, or snacking. Now we're slicers. We're looking at that grocery store size. There you go and you pick a nice slicer. They tend to have a little thicker, greener, dark green skin. Mostly you peel it.
Yeah, frequently they're peeled. But they're kind of all over the board. The classic one that we grew up with, Marketmore 76, came out back in 1976, was a standout for disease resistance.
We're not to call attention to our age, but that's been a while.
It's been a while. But that's one you'd want to peel because it has a much thicker skin than a lot of the others. So typical standard one. And
that one's Monisha.
Yeah, that's Monisha.
And you pick it around 6 to 8 inches. That's your standard heirloom, and we still grow that one. People still buy that one. It still works.
Still very popular.
So it's a good.
But I think there's some better ones now.
Okay.
So if we look at other slicers, just general slicers, a new one that we're going to try this year is called Cento from Johnny's, also Gynaecious and Parthenocarpic. And so expect really good yield and production off of that one.
And with that, most of those are going to bump up the time productivity. So for these bigger slicers, what's my day to harvest looking like?
Most of them are in the 50s, 50, 55. This one, Cento, is 48. And so it is the earliest of all the slicers.
We're pumping these out. Okay.
But that one you'd want to pick at 7 to 8 inches long.
And it doesn't have quite as thick a skin.
Yeah. So little thinner skin, which will be nice. The other just general slicer that we've got is Diva. And this one has been extremely popular.
Yeah, we saw a lot of this one too.
Once it leaves our place, they do just fine. They're kind of a bear to start from seed. I'll be honest.
I fuss at them every once in a while. I was like, everything else is doing okay. That's a Diva. It's like, I'll produce when I want to.
I'll do what I want to, no matter what you do. So Diva is Parthenocarpic, which is nice. It is claims a 32-day from seed to harvest.
It's fast. I don't know if it's quite 32 days.
I'm not sure that it's quite that fast, but it's a really sweet one. It's probably one of our sweeter cucumbers, and people really seem to like that one. So
and then we have a couple of English cucumbers on there too. So tell me the difference. We've got our standard slicing cucumbers, and then we've got English cucumbers. Where do they fit?
So it's getting hard to tell them apart anymore. So the English cucumbers are certainly the smoother skin, thinner skin. They're sweeter. People specifically ask for English cucumbers. The one that is most popular is Sweet Success. Very, very sweet. Really, really tasty. It is Parthenocarpic. Been around for a little while. 1983 AAS winner. Pick that at 12 to 14 inches.
Yeah, and that's a really nice one. I like that one.
It is a good one, yeah. The other English cucumber that we have and we've sold for a couple of years and really like is Early Pride. Early Pride's a little bit earlier, 2 or 3 days earlier in maturity compared to Sweet Success.
It is the open pollinated Monisha. It is not the Parthenocarpic that the Sweet Success is. But did we had some resistance on this one too, I think. You picked this one.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. The main thing is it's about half the length. So if you don't want a 12 to 14 inch long English cucumber, you can get this one, pick it at 6 to 8 inches, and you'll be just fine. So been a really good one. So that's it for the slicers, general slicers. Now we're getting to kind of the more specialty ones. And we're not going to go through all those. There's yellow ones. There's all sorts of.
And there's a whole bunch of novelty cucumbers. We grow the little Mexican sour gherkin. They look like baby watermelons. I love them. Don't pickle them. We did that once.
They taste like.
They were like all crunchy on the outside, but all gooey on the inside. Gushers and a cucumber.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
It was a terrible thing, but just eat them. They're great.
Yeah. So, but if we move over to the more Asian type.
Like a Japanese style
cucumber. Japanese style. So one that we've had for a couple of years that we really like is Shintakaiwa or Shintakiwa. It's about a 62-day. It's Monisha. It's just super flavorful though. If you haven't tried a Japanese style, they're pretty good.
I like them. Yeah.
And so the reason
grow one of all. That's what we do.
Grow one of everything. The reason we brought that in is some claim that it's bacterial wilt resistant, and there's not a lot of varieties that claim that. So I thought, let's give it a try.
Troubles, so.
And
so it's kind of got a flavorful, buttery, really kind of delicious kind of flavor to it. They're nice.
Yeah.
And you pick those 9 to 12 inches, so they're going to be longer, like your English cucumbers can be.
Yeah. Yep. So that's a super good one. Another one that we're bringing in this year and trialing is Shushimi. Sashimi?
Yep.
Yeah, sashimi.
Which is Gyus and Parthenocarpic. So all the female flowers and the no pollinate are required.
Yeah. So small seed cavity, powdery mildew resistance. I expect that one to be a really high producer, and the feedback that we've heard is that they taste really good as well.
Yep.
So we're going to give that one a try. Another one I want to mention, and this is probably the last one we'll cover today, is not a cucumber, but we group it with the cucumbers. It's the Armenian painted serpent cucumber.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, it's more closely related to cantaloupe, I think. Yeah. But they're all kind of in that cucurbit family, right? So this is, if anything is an heirloom, this gets to be an heirloom because we have records of this one going back to like
the 1500s.
The 1500s.
And so it's been around for a long time.
It's been very popular.
But we sold this several years ago, and it was hard to get much traction because who wants to buy something that says Armenia in the name and snake melon and all those funky names? And so we took it off, and then we've had people request it back. And I remember really, really liking it.
Yeah,
it's a very sweet.
They're very sweet.
Very good.
If you've ever had a bitter cucumber or something, you're like, oh, that doesn't taste quite right. This one is always sweet. It's always sweet. And it's got a really nice flavor and texture.
Yeah. And if you grow it on the ground, it will kind of circle up, kind of like a snake.
If you trellis it,
if you trellis it, it'll straighten out quite a bit more.
Yeah.
So, but that's one you would want to grow to anywhere from 8 to 18 inches. I mean, it can be picked really at any point.
But
they'll get up to 30.
I was going to say, you can grow cucumbers way larger than they are delicious.
Yeah.
So for all of these, remember where to pick it, and you'll be much happier.
Yeah. So I think that's all that we're going to cover for the varieties that we've got this year.
Until we decide to grow more. So maybe you tell us what your favorite cucumber is that you've grown and why. And maybe we'll try it.
Yeah. So, and if you've liked our video today, please like and subscribe. Share with your friends. Do like to get feedback and leave comments as well, including, what kind of cucumbers do you like? That's it for now. We'll see you
later.
Bye-bye.